Welcome back. Once again, I commend you for investing your time and energy into becoming an effective financial education instructor. By improving your abilities, you'll have a greater impact on those you teach. Today's video is shorter to provide you more time to complete the activity I'll share with you at the end of class. Let's continue with the topic of measurement and start by sharing with you an in-class measurement tool that will provide another framework that will help you assess their thinking skills.
You're going to be able to see this in the classroom when your teaching is in the basic level of somebody's reaction and response and how they're reacting to your instruction. The basic level is receiving. Hey, they're going to participate maybe, and they'll passively pay attention. They're going to be there. They may not be raising their hand or anything like that, but at least they're there. They're kind of receiving some information. They're not going to get the most out of the class, and this happens a lot in a more lecture-based class. You're there and you're just receiving a lot of information. The next stage we get to is more than responding to when you're interacting with them, asking them questions that require their response, raising hands, asking them to share, and different things like that. The next phase we get into is organizing, should I say. It's when they can find value in information that's aligned, that sets a consistent value set. So they're able to take the information that you're sharing with them and integrate it into something that they know already. Whenever we're learning something new, some new material, anytime we can associate it with something we already know, it makes it easier. The reason we talk a lot about framework in this course is because our mind compartmentalizes a lot of information. So okay, hey, put that right here in this section. It's a little easier to remember. And that's kind of what that organizing section is talking about. The valuing is the internal information. We're going to talk about neuro-linguistic programming in the next section, and talking about how one responds to your education in relation to the values that they have for themselves. I want to dig a little deeper there. So when I talked about that $1 million example before, we always bridge money. So whenever we talk about money that motivates or gives them hope or anything like that, we always bridge that with lifestyle and personal goals. So we don't just say, yeah, let's become a millionaire. No, we say, hey, you can become, and what would you do if you have $1 million today? What are some of the things you would be doing? What do you enjoy doing? So we try to bridge that. People will say, I'd love to help family and friends. I'd love to travel. I don't want to work so much. I want to find a job giving back. Or you get very similar responses. But within each subset of class you're teaching, you're going to get very specific ones as well.
So if you're talking to parents that have high school age kids, a lot of times they say this, hey, I just want to help my kids afford to college. So we're taking this concept of personal financial literacy, money management, and we're going to bridge it from the dollars and cents to their lifestyle goals and connecting it with their current value system in place. So if someone doesn't want to become a millionaire and all you're talking about is becoming a millionaire all day, you're not going to be able to create that bridge. And they're going to be like, I don't care about becoming a millionaire, but I do like the freedom to go out and snowboard all winter and surf all summer. So if all I was talking about him was becoming a millionaire and things like that without bridging the surfing and snowboarding gap, it wouldn't be an effective class for him. He wouldn't associate that with his value sets that he's developed over the years.
Characterizing is to do with developing long-term values or beliefs that influences our participants' behavior. So they may have certain values already set. Maybe money is the root of all evil. Well, we need to change that value set so they can actually achieve a state of financial wellness. So we need to actually get in there and do some changing or whatever they're thinking that is, so they can actually take that next step. So they can progress and achieve that security or financial wellness or achieve that lifestyle goal that they want. And show them how their thought of that current value doesn't associate with their other personal and financial goals.
So these are just emotional reactions that you can kind of see within the class. Again, it gives you framework, so as you're teaching the class, you kind of see them moving through these different stages. You're learning about their values, and you go along and teach a class again. Every time you're in front of the class, you're learning as much about them as you are about yourself. What you're going to find out over time is that many people have very similar goals, very similar dreams. It doesn't matter where I'm at in the world. People, one of the things they tell me is, I just want to take care of my family. I want that security. I want to have a certain type of lifestyle. These are just very common. But then when you get into the micro level, everybody has their own unique little twists, their own unique takes on that, what their goal is. So this should help you at least, again, the framework to compartmentalize where the class is that you're teaching at the time.
With that, I want to get into instructors' measurements. And sometimes this is the most difficult for instructors to do because you're getting feedback. Some of it's positive, some of it's not. And we have to use that in a constructive way. So this is going to help you improve as an instructor. So on the surveys, you're definitely asking about your performance. How did you do? What do people like? What about the time? All that stuff, you're getting that feedback. Again, we always start with very clear and concise goals for the instructors. So if you're an organization that's managing many instructors going out in the field, you want to make sure you have very clear and concise goals for them. If it's you personally with a passion going out there on your own, have clear and concise goals for yourself, not only in financial literacy, in every area of your life. This is very critical. The first few events, give yourself a little slack, please. Things will go right, things will go wrong. Overall, you're going to benefit who you're teaching, especially if you're following the best basic techniques that we're talking about here and have very solid curriculum that is already built to actively engage the participants. You're going to make a difference already. So if all these things don't come back great, that's okay. There's going to be people that always complain about everything. You're going to think you did great, but there is always going to be people that complain about everything. That's okay. Take their constructive criticism and try to perfect your presentations. It never will be perfect, and that's okay. If you bring passion, a concern, a willingness to learn about your participants, a desire to continue to improve, and you're prepared, well, you're going to be doing great. So cut yourself a little slack the first few events and over time. This confidence will build up. Please remember what we talked about in the first class. I want each of you to set up any event right after this coursework is done. Host an event or volunteer through a nonprofit organization. Just get out there and teach a class. If you already have classes scheduled, be sure to incorporate what you learn. Make those adjustments that will make you a more effective instructor. But if you don't have anywhere to teach yet, find a place you can. So the day after you graduate this coursework, you're in the class utilizing it. Again, just like personal finance, if we're not utilizing the information, we forget it, and you have to go through this again to really get that confidence to go out there. But if you go through this course and you go right into teaching, you're going to say, okay, hey, now this kind of makes sense. Oh, okay, I kind of see how this fits in. Where if you're already educating, start to incorporate these pieces bit by bit. Sometimes with educators, we get into old habits and we don't want to try anything new. So always try to incorporate something new. For new educators, I want you to start right away. So please, start planning to teach a class.
You'll want to review the surveys, pre-test and post-test, to evaluate the instructor. I talked about creating your own charts for your own use. Anything that can show you visually is going to be very helpful for you to get that snapshot of your progress over time. Over time, you will start to see a trend on the direction your teaching skills are headed. Sometimes your events are going to be more successful than others. Other times, your post-tests won't show the results you want. Over time, you're going to see a consistent improvement in your pre-test and post-test results. So you want to see something that's starting to go up.
Video yourself and watch it. Sometimes it's the most painful thing to do, especially when you know, oh, I messed up at that part. I don't want to watch it. You cringed almost. But you know what? You've got to tough it up and sit through it. I hate watching myself too sometimes. I'm like, oh, why did I say that? That didn't make sense. I got off track there. I lost it. But that's okay. Each time you're going to improve. Each time you're going to catch something that you may have missed. So always videotape your events, especially early on, because it's going to be vitally important. You can rent a camera pretty inexpensively if you don't have one, or you can borrow one for a friend, but make sure you video it. Watch it, see what you've done, see what things you've done right, and see what things you've done wrong, and give yourself an honest assessment. Sometimes, too, if you have friends or colleagues who are honest, it'd be good to share the video with them as well and get some great feedback. Getting their opinion as well could be a great thing and help you improve as a financial educator. And what you're going to find is you're better than you think, even on those events you felt you messed up completely. But you may say, they didn't react to me the way I wanted. What did I do wrong? And you're going to watch the video. No, that wasn't good. That just wasn't good. So sometimes it actually helps in a positive way. And you may actually feel better about your instruction. You may also wonder, how can I connect with them more? There are a number of questions you'll be able to ask yourself as you watch through these videos again and again. If you're working with a larger group of instructors, compare their performance. So, if you're managing, let's say, 5 or 6 instructors, compare their performance. If you see someone doing really well on a topic that's getting really high survey results, really high pre- and post-test scores, and then somebody that's not so good on that topic, bring that person in. Have them watch that person that's getting those excellent results, or have the other person sit in, and maybe give the person that doesn't have the best results feedback. Getting in the habit of getting feedback and measuring your impact can benefit you over time. The next time you're in front of the audience, you're not going to have that worry. Am I connecting with them? You'll be able to quantify your results with each class and monitor your progress over time.
Longer-term measurements, critically important these days. As mentioned earlier, by showing your program improves financial capabilities and demonstrating participants form positive financial habits provides many benefits. When your program is backed by empirical evidence, you can get additional funding opportunities, media attention, build new partnerships, and garner the respect of your community.
Longer-term measurements demonstrates one improvement of their financial capabilities. Are they more capable now than they entered your class? How they begin to take in some of the information you shared and listed that into their lives so they're actually utilizing that information on a regular basis and seeing improvement over time. Longer-term measurements can include testing and surveys. So you can do a survey now, 6 months from now, a year from now, and other tools that I've discussed. You can also take it to the next level and do comprehensive measurements with actual data that allow you to quantify the program's real-world success. For those of you that may be teaching a credit repair class or something like that, you can actually get them to get a copy of the credit report now, and at the end of, let's say, a year, if their credit report has improved, this is factual data that gives you clear results. If you have a class on debt reduction, you can measure how much they paid off using their credit report as well. Now that costs money, but there's always things like myannualcreditreport.com where you can actually check their debt loads, their credit markings, and different things like that for free. If you have a class on savings or retirement planning, measure the actual savings rate or retirement contributions over time.
So there's a lot of different things you can measure within there, and the longer-term measurement is key. Again, quantifying the change in behavior over time is critical for a successful program. If you just use the pre-post testing and longer-term post-testing measurements, that's good, but it's not really showing their change in behavior and if they're really utilizing that information.
Many of you are going to be out there forming collaborative partnerships and relationships. And this is really critical to expand your reach as far as teaching personal finance. Now, up until now, in this point, we've been talking a lot about the participants' objectives. Let's switch it up and think about the people you are going to be partnering with. Those groups, maybe it's a school, maybe it's an employer, maybe it's a nonprofit or community organization, whomever you're going to be partnering with, it's really important that you understand their objectives and make sure that their needs are met. Because when their needs are met, you can do more events on a more frequent basis. Now, the first thing we need to do before we can assume their objectives, we need to find out what their true objectives are. And there's some really key questions you can ask them to help to understand them on that deeper level. For instance, a great question is, what do you need in order to consider this event successful? And listen to their response. They're basically telling you what they're looking for to consider this a successful event. Ask them, what is it that you would like to see? Maybe they have some ideas or preconceived notions on what they would like incorporated in there. A lot of people don't have ideas and they're relying on you, but it's always good to see. And oftentimes you'll hear some great, unique ideas that they're coming in with. You may also want to ask is, hey, what is the goal of this training for your organization specifically? Again, there's a lot of questions you can ask to help you dig down and get to know that organization you're serving on a deeper level. Also, this will help you set proper expectations. It's really, really critical that you as a certified financial education instructor are out there holding yourself in that professional light. So you want to make sure you're able to understand their expectations and set realistic expectations. If they're expecting you to, let's say they wanted a 60-minute class and they want to see significant changes in the behavior of the participants, it's up to you to say, hey, that may not be the type of format that's best suited for your goals. But if we employed a 6-month course where we met once a week and there were some accountability features, that's going to be more suited to your goals of making a significant change in their financial behaviors. So again, you want to understand their goals, what they're looking to do, and set those proper expectations. Once you have a better understanding of what the organization is looking for, you can set some objectives together. What are they looking to achieve? Does it match what you're looking to do as well? Let's say you're working with an employer and you understand their educational objectives. Dive deeper. What are their bigger picture objectives? What are they looking to obtain? Maybe they're looking for more people to contribute to the retirement plan. That's one objective. Or maybe you're working with a nonprofit whose objective is to get some sponsorship funding. That's great. You can serve everyone. It's good that you understand that up front and you can really think about expanding your program to incorporate their objectives. A big piece of what we do in financial literacy is to ensure the sustainability. Basically, sustainability is reliant on funding. The more funds we're able to raise, the more programming options we can deliver to the community, and the faster we can expand, and the faster we can get out there. Looking at sustainability not only from your perspective, but from your partner's perspective is critical. Maybe you want to work with a bank or credit union. Maybe you want to get them to sponsor one of your events. Well, we know today it costs a bank or credit union between $300 and $500 to acquire one checking and savings client. If we're putting on a financial education event and we're able to help them acquire some clients, let's say 5 clients, that's money that they would have had to spend through traditional marketing anyway. So we're showing them that through financial literacy, we can deliver a true return on investment. No matter what the organization you're working with, we want to look at that return on investment and return of time from their perspective. For example, if they're putting up money to fund this event, how can we show them a return on their investment? If they're not putting any money up, but they're putting in some time and some effort, maybe they're promoting the event or getting the word out or helping you fill seats or providing you a complimentary venue, how can we compensate them for the time that they put in? So we're always seeking that win-win. A real critical thing about what you're doing as a financial educator is finding those win-win situations. When you do find those situations, it will help you. It will help the participants. It will help the organization you're partnering with. And when you can build some nice synergy between all these groups, you can continue to deliver the programming. As word gets out, if you like, you can also expand your programming to benefit other groups as well.
Remember,
People are into financial literacy because everybody's gone through some type of financial challenge. Everybody can relate to it. They have loved ones that have gone through it. They've gone through it themselves. So we can enlist them right there because it hits home. You need to always be thinking about how you can align all of these goals to create a win-win-win. You want everybody to win. That's how great relationships are formed when you're concerned about somebody else's win as much as you're concerned about your own win. That's the relationships we want you to form. It not only highlights us in a great way, it shows that we're concerned with a bigger picture of financial literacy. It highlights you in a great way.
Right now, you'll build your own measurement survey. In this activity, you'll have a few stage of change survey questions that will help you determine somebody's willingness to change that relates specifically to your target market. I want you to develop a few questions on a pre and post test. It doesn't have to be perfect, but at least get some ideas on how to develop it yourself. We want to give you the questions, but again, a lot of the knowledge comes from doing these activities and understanding the thought process behind it. Follow the examples when we talked about the knowledge. When we're trying to test, we're looking for motivations to change, their knowledge level and recognition of the first step. You want to include all three of those in there, and then maybe a post-event survey as well. Think of it specifically towards your target market. This is your homework. Right now, I want to thank you for all your time. I appreciate you being here with me. I look forward to our next class together. Again, complete this activity right now. Start preparing for your first event or integrating this into your current events. With that, I wish you a blessed day. Thank you for your time. Take care.